Enjoy it while you can, Esau, because you're next. First, I want to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, Elder Bishop the Great Millstone, Ruel. Peace and blessings to you, fellow brothers, pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Shabbat Chanak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Okay, so I'm gonna do this lesson. This is fair use, fair use. We'll play a little bit of this guy David Hookstead. This is an individual that popped on my feed concerning the recent events today. All right, or yesterday, because it's 12. It's like 12:44. It's 12:44 right now. So today's the 3rd, but this happened on the 2nd. You know, where the U.S. Struck a vessel out in the Caribbean, off the coast of Venezuela, supposedly killing 11 people. And this was a so-called vessel that was, used for the trafficking of drugs, right? So that's the narrative. We're not going to argue with the narrative. Does Jake sell drugs? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, is Jake savages? When I say Jake, meaning Jacob, you so-called black, Hispanic, Native American. In this case, speaking to you Latin tribes, yeah, absolutely. Jake cartel and beheading each other and doing all type of crazy shit. Yes. Okay, but who sets them up to do it? Right? Who's actually benefiting from the things that Jake does behind the scenes? Who takes the most drugs? Okay, here in America. Okay, and by you trying to spin a narrative, basically making it seem like the so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans are the problem, when in all actuality, you're the problem. So now, so-called Trump, he's, taking a aggressive stance, and he's meeting them at their house and in their yard. They're doing covert strikes, and then they release the video for the whole world to see. And this is how proud Esau is. I want to get a precept, um, Psalms 10. Let's just hold that, but let's play a little bit of this video. Fair use, fair use. Let me speed it up. And basically, Esau is gloating. Esau is basically I'll go 1.5. I don't want to. Yeah, 1.5. Esau's gloating. Esau is rejoicing. That Trump is going after the bad guys. Let's play this.
Footage of the brutal strike against the drug cartels that President Donald Trump announced. I'm filming this on September 2nd. He has now released footage of the strike after first announcing the strike had happened to the world during an Oval Office meeting on Tuesday afternoon, where he spoke with the press. And everyone's fired up. Everyone wants to know what the details of what happened are.
See, who's fired up? Are the Edomites. Because this is their spirit. By the sword thou shalt live. You see how behind him he got a large caliber bullet. They're Esau's into this. He probably served in the military. He gets off on war, especially when it comes to you so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans, the Israelites. He loves it when bad things happen to you. He loves it when he gets to crack down on you. And he's been waiting for this day. He set you up. He gave you the bottle. Let me get, what? Let's go to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, because he gave you the bottle. He got you drunk. He got you strung out on drugs. He got you living the cartel lifestyle. He got you trafficking drugs. He pretty much economic sanctions you to the point to where the only thing that you can export is drugs and human trafficking. He bottles, he backs you into a corner. But now he has the excuse to come down upon you and destroy you like he always wanted to. Okay. Um, yep. Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. Okay, because Esau ultimately it's going to come down. It's going to come down upon you. You're happy. You're excited, but don't worry because you're next. And see, the Most High when He comes at you, all right, it's going to be justifiable. You're taking out Jake, and ultimately you want to blanket. You know, every Latin individual is a drug dealer, is a trafficker. Okay, is a thug. This is the image that you have painted to the whole world. Every so-called black man is a thief, a robber. He slings dope. Okay, every and in the eyes of the Lord, every Edomite is a wicked demon. Okay, so it's going to be turned unto you. Don't worry. Have fun. This is your last. This is your last laugh. Okay. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. So now Jake is all messed up, distraught, finished, cooked. Okay, ready for the taking. You have built up this case to the whole world that them lad tribes, they export nothing but death, drugs, and you allow people here in America to take those drugs, and you allow that culture to prosper, and for people to families be destroyed, people overdosing and dying. Now the people are sick and tired of it. All right, so now it's time to go at these people that are doing it. The whole time, you are the one that fentanyl and heroin. You created those drugs. Who created those drugs? Those are the pharmaceutical companies. But nobody looks at the people behind. Okay, that's not even a talking point. You can't get on mainstream media and talk about the people who are actually creating the drugs. It's Jake, right? Who gave Jake the recipe? Okay, who allows those supply chains to who allows drugs to come in? Esau allows drugs to come in. He's making the most money off of it.
Get into all of that and much more. I'm going to show you the strike footage. I'm going to show you his comments. We're going to go over what details are known. This situation, folks, to put it as simply as possible, is absolutely nuts. I've been begging Trump to hit the cartels ever since he returned to office. Finally, we have the first actual strike on a ship leaving Venezuela. We, of course, have Venezuela surrounded right now with naval vessels.
He's not begging. He's not begging Trump to, drain the swamp, so to speak. Stop, the police brutality. Stop the unjust stealing of wages through the IRS. Okay, stop the poison, allowing the FDA to poison the food. Okay, allowing the government to experiment on their population. Okay, through vaccines. Okay, allowing the government to take away your rights. Okay. Making the people more poor. We can go on and on. Okay, bringing in a digital system. No, it's to come against the cartels, to come against you Israelites, because these Edomites, they hate you.
This is as real as it's ever going to get. This is a sign that Trump is not playing games. I can't wait to show you guys this footage. Before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like.
Yeah, because Trump, he's that, and I'm stopping it, Salakia. I'm stopping it, but Isaiah 19. Let's just get that real quick. He's not playing games, and we do videos on this. Okay. Isaiah 19:4, 19:4. And the Egyptians, which is speaking about spiritual Egypt, which is America, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. And Trump got to be that cruel Lord. Look how he's coming. Okay. It's unprecedented. He's not even a year in office. And he's dropped bombs. Okay, in Iran, he officially entered the war with Iran. Iran responded, but they didn't respond to U.S. They didn't do any attack here in the U.S. That war is still brewing. Okay, so there's going to be more conflicts with Iran. Okay, Israel drags America in. Okay, and that's all biblical prophecy. All right, they overthrew Syria. Okay, they helping the so-called uh, genocide in that land. Funding these wars. They're at war with Russia through proxy Ukraine, and then they put a bounty on Maduro, 50 million. They doubled the bounty. They put a bounty, I believe, 10 million on, or is it 4 million on the president in Haiti, which they set him up. It's the same story over and over and over again. And a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts. All right, and this is the individual that you people have voted for, and this is the thing. This Edomites like this, Trump's gonna turn on you. Okay, the excuse is the so-called black man Native American, but it's to get all the people under this system. Okay, and then a guy like this, he's gonna be so hurt, he's gonna fight against the government.
Subscribe, totally free, cost you guys absolutely nothing, and is a huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below on what you think about the strike and the strike footage. Hit that bell above, all notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Huckstead, X, D Huckstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. If you have information you want to share, please send it there and we can get into it. And I will research any tips you guys might have about any subject I'm talking about. Now, let's get into it. President Donald Trump stunned the country when he announced that a strike had been carried out against a drug target, a cartel target that was departing Venezuela. That made it clear.
And guess what? The drugs ain't gonna stop coming in. Okay, because America is funded by the drug culture. Ain't no way coke is gonna stop coming in. Esau love coke. Ain't no way heroin gonna stop coming in. Esau love heroin. Okay, crack. Esau love crack. See, they don't tell you these things. Esau be on more drugs than Jake. Jake is just completely drunk. They can't hide their shame. Okay, Jake is under the curses. Esau could be tucked away. He could be a highly functional drug addict. Okay, our people, you start doing what Esau do, and you're completely finished, because it's against your nature. Okay, to live those type of death styles. Okay.
It happened at sea, happened in the ocean, and that's why we have the Navy ships there. Shortly after he announced that, Marco Rubio, I will go ahead and put this on the screen for you as well.
Which shows you that those Latin countries are not sovereign. If America doesn't like any of those Latin countries, they could just build up an excuse. Like, all of a sudden, we have not heard about Maduro, okay, ahead of a cartels coming out of Venezuela. You hear about cartels coming out of Colombia, cartels coming out of Mexico. You don't hear cartels coming out of Venezuela, but now all of a sudden this new cartel just popped up.
Rubio came out and said the following. Let me make sure I got it. Yep. Said, as POTUS just announced moments ago, today the U.S. military conducted a lethal strike in the southern Caribbean against a drug vessel which had departed from Venezuela and was being operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization. Rubio also put this out. Let me throw this up on the screen for you. So, Venezuelan dictator, and we're on the brink of more action against Venezuela. The Venezuelan dictator apparently said that the U.S. military operation was all smoke. This is the way people are interpreting this. Is Rubio is saying, well, smoke equals fire, because now we just opened up. We unleashed the force of the U.S. military in just a tiny pinprick fashion to show you what is possible. And the footage is now out. So I'm going to throw this up on the screen. President Donald Trump released this on Tuesday, late afternoon, about 5 o'clock-ish. Said, earlier this morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Tren de Aragua narco-terrorists in the Southcom area responsibility. TDA, of course, has been named a terrorist organization. Once you're declared a terrorist organization, the president has broad authority to take you out, and that is what happened here. TDA is
Remember when Biden, he allowed Tren de Agua to come in, unabated, gave him housing, allow him to take over the streets. And then all of a sudden, now the new administration comes in. Now there's a push to destroy him, to take him down. So don't you see the sleight of hand?
designated foreign terrorist organization, like I just said, operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, I can't read some of that stuff, acts of violence, and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere. The strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters, transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Please let this serve as
So now you're seeing there you so-called drug dealers, okay, you individuals that you cartel members. All right, you are now no longer just a regular drug dealer or a drug trafficker. You are now under the banner of a terrorist. And since you are under the banner of a terrorist now, the U.S. military can, all right, U.S. military can, strike. Okay, they can activate troops. They can deploy troops. Why? It's because you are a terrorist now, and under law, all right, the U.S. military can be activated if there's terrorists. Okay, so you're no longer just a drug cartel. You're no longer organized crime. All right, you're no longer just a regular drug dealer or whatever it may be, a trafficker, a pimp. You are now going to be classified as a terrorist, and now that they can do that, they can send drones, they can send in special forces, they can send in destroyers. So you see how Esau is taking a aggressive stance against the tribes.
Notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America, beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So now, let's go ahead. I'm gonna go full screen here on y'all.
In East, you can just hear it in his voice. You can go to his page and play it at regular speed, but you can hear it in his voice. He's excited. This gets some pumped. He got the American flag hat on. He's like, yeah. Look at this. We gonna get these drugs, and he take all type of drugs. Okay.
Let's go ahead and watch this strike. You can see it's a boat carrying drugs. It looks like 4 engines on it. Has no idea the eye in the sky can see it. They have no idea they're being tracked. And then boom, lights out.
And again, could this be true? Could it be an actual vessel with drugs on it? There was 11 people on that vessel. Come on. Could that be true? All right, cool. We're not going to argue that. Could it be AI? Could it be a narrative that they just want to push? Okay, who knows? But regardless of the fact, Esau is saying that this is what he done. He has done. So he has set the precedent, and this is in international waters. He has set the precedent that he can shoot any vessel down. Okay, it could have been a fishing boat. All right, you don't. Here it is. You got all this technology. Why can't we see clearly who was on that boat with the products that were on that boat? Why is it in like a heat-seeking photo to where you can't really make out what's going on? Because he's the spin master. Esau will set any narrative that he wants. All right, because he has the power to do so.
Lights out, game over. Yeah, it's hard to believe they said they got 11 of them. Let's go ahead and rewatch that back.
See, 11 of them. They got 11 of them. Let's watch that again.
A little bit.
See, it's all in like black and white. You see that?
That's devastating. Sucks to be a bad guy.
See, sucks to be a bad guy. See, Esau, he's looking at you. Israelites, you're the bad guy. He does nothing wrong. He came to this country, rape, rob, and murder, and then he gave the bottle to you. He gave his philosophy to you. He allowed you to be on drugs. He poisoned your neighborhood. He continues to poison your neighborhood. He fills you with poison food, poison water. He puts you in a poison environment. When you look at the hood, right, and you contrast that with Esau's neighborhoods, one thing you're always going to see is there are going to be no trees around where Jake lives. There's going to be very little trees where Jake lives in most cases. That plays that plays a role in your mood. your stress level, okay, your well-being, okay, your connection with nature, all right, your health, your mental state. Where Esau is at, you got all type of trees. So he chops those down. See, you Jakes, you just think that just that's just what it is. Not everything has been covertly done, all right, subtly done to destroy you. That's just one example. And then you have all these, you have food deserts in Jake's neighborhoods. You don't have access to the right foods. All right, you don't have access to the clean water, and then you're marketed to eat particular foods. You have Jake celebrities out, do a McDonald's commercial, a Coca-Cola commercial, a Pepsi commercial, a bag of chips, and you get addicted to those foods. That's why Jake is all messed up right now. The number one killer in the Israelite community is heart disease. The second one is cancer. And a lot of that is to do to your lifestyle. You live a toxic lifestyle. Are you bunched up all close to each other? Okay, you're eating all low vibrational foods. You have no knowledge of the herbs. You have no knowledge of how to heal yourself. All right, and ultimately you have no knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai. So the Lord, he has rejected you, and he has allowed Esau to come in and do whatever the hell he wants to. This is just another proof that Esau, he can do whatever the hell he wants to you Israelites. And you have no military, all right, a rinky-dink military that ain't gonna do shit. Okay, he has superiority. He has power over the sky. Okay, over the air. And one thing that you see with those Central and South American countries is they have very weak military with very weak military technology. And why is that? Because that's the first thing. The first goal when you're fighting an enemy is not to allow your enemy to have the same technology.
Well, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You want to threaten the United States of America, you want to hurt our great people, this is what's waiting for you. Let this be a message to all the bad guys. And for those of you who hadn't seen Trump's comments earlier today when he announced the strike.
And you see that? Let that be a message to all the bad guys. When Esau, he's the actual bad guy. Okay? Psalms 10:1. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thy face, thyself in a time of trouble? And it will seem that way, right? Here it is, Esau for hundreds of years. He's been just persecuting and destroying and just having his way with Jake, to the point to where Jake don't even rise up. They've been just used to it. The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let them be taken into the devices that they have imagined. And when any little thing happened to Esau, he's just like, oh my God, this is just too much. He can't take it. He can't take that same energy. Okay. He can't take that same, look at these. You see Esau, he's having a good old time, man. Look at him. They all laughing. Okay. But they're going to be taken into the devices that they have imagined. What have they imagined against the Israelites? Okay, is extermination, is total subjugation. They want to put you back into slavery. All right, and you Israelites, you're not aware of that. All right, you got dudes coming on the comment board saying nothing's happening. Oh, what y'all apostles, your apostles, they said it was wrong. I'm gonna come back every year and let you know you're wrong. Well, the whole time, shit is happening. I mean, things are moving closer. We're moving closer and closer to the end. We're moving closer to Jacob's trouble. And just because you don't believe this truth, okay, the Esau still looks at you as a nigga. He still looks at you as a spick, as a Native American, whether you side with him or not. Okay, he don't give a shit about you. But our people, they have a love infatuation for their oppressor. Verse 3, for the wicked boasteth of his heart desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. How did you get America? How did you get the things that you have, Esau? Was it by hard work and dedication? Yeah, yeah, it was hard work and dedication and wickedness. All the things that now you condemn, you know, the condemning of murder, the condemning of selling drugs. Who are the big who sells the most drugs? Who kills the most people through the pushing of drugs? Hmm? Who does that? It's a multi. It's really a multi-trillion-dollar industry. All right, pharmakia, the pharmakia industry. Okay, and they put people to, they put more people to death than everything. Okay, you go into one of these hospitals, your ass might not come out, and you're gonna be basically you're gonna be lied to. Okay, you're gonna be you know coerced to do particular surgeries. Okay, coerced to take certain drugs. Okay, and and you're gonna what's the word? It's escaping me. All right, you're gonna be told that it's gonna work when it doesn't work. Here it is, you're dying, and no, I don't know what's going on. I did this surgery 1,000 times, and this is like the only time this has happened, and there's nothing you can do. You're just fucked up. They cut some shit out of you that you can't get back. Okay, the wicked through the pride of his conscience will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in their thoughts. Let me jump down. Verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places, in the villages. In the secret place does he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Because all this confusion in, Jake community in Latin America, what you have are people down there that are genuinely scared of the cartel, and being plagued by the cartel and people in that sort. Yeah, because I mean, really, the Most High is killing two birds with one stone because you Israelites, you got a lot to pay for. Okay, you're not getting off. Okay, your culture is all fucked up. Okay, your mind is all messed up. You have totally accepted death. You're not even mad. You're not even mad about what's going on in your neighborhood. Okay, you have not risen up. Okay, and condemned. Okay, the cartels, condemned. Drug trafficking, condemned. Sex trafficking. Okay, condemned. Murder. You haven't condemned it. You actually glorify it within your communities. You make music about it. Okay, you want to dress like the cartel. The women, they want to get with the top dude. The top dude selling drugs. The woman, she desires him. So you have this precipitous, this death cycle, this doom loop of our people just waxing worse and worse. And then now that you all jacked up and you're naked, all right. Here's Esau. See, look, they're bad guys. But guess what, Esau? You're the real bad guy, and you're next. Okay. He lieth and waits secretly as a lion in his den. Yeah, this has all been done covertly. It's all been done subtly, to where the people, don't even take into consideration of how did our people get into this state. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. So because you've been set up, this was a net that you've been set up to be caught in. Because how many years, how many decades have those routes been open for you to sell drugs and for individuals to prosper? Okay, how much drugs have been openly, freely moved into, okay, the United States? How many networks have been created? Trade lines, supply chains. Excuse me, supply lines, supply chains. You funded it all. The CIA is behind all of it. Okay, you have all these secret organizations that behind of it, that's actually making the true money. I forget what that movie Two Guns, I believe. Let me see. I believe it was Two Guns. 2 guns. Yeah, 2 guns. Which was showing you how the CIA and the FBI, they wanted a piece of that drug money. All right, because and they're the ones that are actually in charge. And it was, you got to watch the movie. Let me see. Robert Bobby Trench, and Michael Stigman are 2 criminals working together, unbeknownst to each other. Bobby is a undercover DEA special agent, and Stig is an undercover U.S. Navy. So okay, I remember. Yeah, it was the military was in on it too. So I'm not sure. I believe it was like the DEA, CEI, military. They meet United States Naval Office of Naval Intelligence. They meet drug lord Manny Poppy, who was set up. They set him up to be the drug lord at his farm in Mexico, where Poppy gives Bobby a packet of cash instead of cocaine he requested. Upon their return to U.S., Bobby reports to his superior, Special Agent Jessup, and fellow agent Deb Reese, that he did not get the cocaine they needed to convince Poppy. Yeah, it's all traps. It's all snares. Okay, I mean, you can watch that movie, but basically, the U.S. government in these different organizations, they were in on it. They get a piece of the pie. Okay, in order to move drugs, all right, into the United States, it has to go to the highest level. All right, you can move your drugs. Okay, only so much can be moved. All right, we need a piece of that. And the drugs fund the U.S. economy. You know how many lawyers and the military industrial complex, you know how many people make money off of the sale of drugs indirectly? Okay, rehabs, different programs, all the drug paraphernalia. Who makes the needles? Esau. Who makes the needles that all these addicts use? Huh? Esau. So indirectly, they make tons of money. So they don't want the drugs to stop. It's just the excuse to destroy you Israelites. Okay, it's the excuse to bring in more control. Okay. Yep, it says, he croucheth and he humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Okay, his military. Okay, he has said in his heart, the Most High has forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Lord. O power, lift up thy hand, forget not the humble. Right. Forget not the Israelites, starting with the elect. Don't forget us, because how Esau is doing to get, the so-called drug deal, that's like the low-hanging fruit. Everybody pretty much will agree we need to get the drug dealers, right? So really nobody's going to come against that. But that same energy is going to be turned upon, those that do good. Well, in 2 Ezra 16, it should be a great insurrection upon them that fear the Lord. Okay? They're going to do the same. It's going to be the same. It's going to be sloppy, but you're going to have people that's going to go along with it, and they're going to use their technology to do it.
You can go ahead and
promise. They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug carrying boat, a lot of drugs in there.
And that's a drop. That's a drop in the bucket. Like that's a distraction, really, to be honest. That's literally a distraction from the things that are actually happening. You shot a boat. Not even you. Nobody's confirmed it. There is no oversight. All right. There's no outside organization that can confirm that these were from this so-called cartel. Okay, and it was so many people, and they had so many kilotons of dope on them, cocaine, whatever it may be, fentanyl. So Esau can just say any story. and then you have these Magites, these Trumpers, all right, applauding such a great feat. Why y'all didn't do that 20 years ago, 30 years ago? What happened when crack was being flooded? What happened when what happened when heroin was being flooded? You just allowed it to come in. Now all of a sudden you're taking an aggressive stance on crime, on drugs. It doesn't make sense, but it actually does make sense. It does make sense if you want to bring in, all right, a draconian legislation. It does make sense if you want to, exterminate the Israelites. It all makes sense. It does make sense if you want distractions from all the devious plans the schemes that you have, and to keep your base happy. So because Trump's looking bad. He's looking real bad. He's losing a lot of followers. But this is a way to keep his base. Okay, the people that voted for him. I've been begging Trump to go after the cartels. What about, have you been begging Trump to bring down inflation? What about that? All right, and begging Trump to have AI stop, taking all the jobs. What about all the people that were fired from their job because the AI said that they're not needed anymore? Have you been telling Trump to forgive student loans? All right, what about to release the files? What about that? Have you been begging Trump to release the files? Well, he said, hey, there's nothing there. Why are we still talking about that? So you Americans you Americans just don't got it, and everybody's looking stupid. And ultimately, judgment is coming for you. We're gonna get that in Lamentations. Rejoice.
And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it. We didn't do what we did, but he gave us a little bit of a briefing.
And you just got nothing but sycophants around. Look that word up. You got nothing but sycophants around Trump. All right, that's enough. You can watch the rest of that video. I want to go to Lamentations 4. All right. And let me get another scripture. Okay. It's in Isaiah. Bear with me. I believe it is. Okay, Jeremiah, excuse me. Lamentations 4 and 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. All right, who is the daughter of Edom? That's speaking about the Edomites. Who are the Edomites? The so-called white man. Okay, the so-called European, as they are known. The so-called Caucasian, as they are known today. Okay, which Caucasian goes into a cave dweller. All right, Esau is the caveman that dwelleth in the land of Uz. And that's speaking spiritually about America. The cup also, what's the cup? Judgment. All right, we have served our judgment, and we're still in our judgment. We're still being jacked up as a people. I'm talking about generally as a people. We are still under the hands of the so-called white man in the other nations. They rule over us. We are the spoil. Okay. The Most High, he put us into chattel slavery. He beat our language out of us. He beat our nationality out of us. Other nations have rule over our land and our resources. All right, they have rule over our possessions. They have our people's minds, our women's minds. Okay, it's like there's no hope. We're to a non-spiritual eye. it seemed like we are completely destroyed as a people. Yet the Lord called all Yabashimashai, he left a remnant. And that's how the nation is going to be reestablished. Okay, it's through the remnant, the ones that the Most High has woken back up. Okay, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Yeah, you're gonna receive that judgment. So rejoice. Yeah, and you did rejoice. All the nations rejoiced. Okay, Lamentations 2. All the nations rejoiced when they, pretty much conquered us, took us down. Okay, and rightfully so. That was your time to shine. But now time is up. All right, Revelation 12. He knoweth that he has but a short time. So now that he sees the writing on the wall, this is why he's warp speeding everything. This is why it's so much shit going on. This is happening. That's happening. This happening. Now he's bombing this. He putting bounties on people here. He's saying this. He's saying, like, this nigga's all over the place. He's like a raging wild man. Because we're at the end, and ultimately he's not saying it, but he wants to suppress this truth, because we are the only ones that are really coming up against him and exposing him for who he truly is, and that's the Edomite. And he can't have, and this is the conversation that he doesn't want to have. Oh, there's like a conversation out there, are the Jews white? He don't want to answer that. He don't want to answer that question, because his whole existence has been him being justified in all the things that he's doing, because he ties himself back to the scriptures. Well, you tie yourself back to the scriptures, well, then everybody else is tied back to the scriptures, right? So who are the Edomites? And would the Edomites still be here? And then if you want to tie everything back to the scriptures, well, we got to go into the prophecies. But see, he doesn't want to touch that. For so long, he's been able to just say, I'm the Jew, and close the book, or I'm a Christian and close the book. But now the Inquisition is being made, which is a long period of intense questioning and investigation. He's being investigated of what manner of man he is, and he can't hide himself because everything is being recorded. Okay? And the Lord is against you, Esau. This is why he has raised up his men to come out against you. All right, through not by military action, tanks and missiles. Nah, it's by this word. The word hurts more than anything. The cup also shall be passed through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. And you're naked right now, because you're being revealed for the devil that you are. Here it is. All these individuals up in the highest forms of office, they're all compromised. They were all on that island. And that's just what was released. There's many other more gruesome things that are going on behind a closed door, and they're all going to be exposed. Everything that's in the dark is going to come to light. All right, so you're not going to be able to hide yourself from the crimes that you have committed, and the Israelites are on your ass. All right, we in so much so that Jake is actually mad at us for continuing to bring up what Esau has done, because it's the Most High that wants to remind you, nigga. Okay, the Lord has not forgotten what this damn devil has done. All right, he has sinned against the Heavenly Father. What about all the blasphemies? Okay, against the Heavenly Father, against His Son, against the Holy Host. Psalms 83, they take crafty counsel against the Heavenly Father. Okay, against the angels, Yahweh Shai, against His people. Okay. So the Lord, He has not forgotten. And this is why we continue to speak these things. We continue to bring these things up. These are the hard conversations that nobody wants to have. All right. And this truth is uncomfortable, all right, to this world. All right. Did I finish that? Let me see. Nope. Verse 22, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished. See, O daughter of Zion, let me just finish that. O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. When we were in the beginning of our slavery, that was just like the worst thing. But now we understand that we are in the latter end of our captivity. So we are rejoicing. Okay? We know that this is going to be over very soon. But for you, Esau, it's just beginning. And the actual physical captivity of the Edomites is not yet here, but you have the mental torment of their power waning. They can feel their power waning. This is why you have the other nations, the Moabites, the Ammonites, okay, the Ishmaelites, the Elamites coming against Esau. Even his own people, his hegemony, his power is being questioned. Okay, even Maduro, he's like, we gonna fight. Beforehand, they would have submitted unto Esau. Who can make war with the beast? All right, but now was that Joel 3? Let the weak say I am strong. And Venezuela has ties to Russia. I remember I did a video on it. I've done a couple of videos, I want to say, throughout the years, where Russia, sent envoys and different military. I'm not sure if it was equipment. I remember it was a Russia bomber that landed in Venezuela. Let me see if I can find that. Let me just see something. I don't know how to. Let's see. Russia. Let me see. Just bear with me. Yep, that's it. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, this is the one in South Africa. All right, that was the one in South Africa. That was bombers. That was 5 years ago. But I want to get the one in Venezuela. Yep, there we go. That was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, World War III, Russian bombers in Venezuela. Okay, because Russia and Venezuela, they have some ties. Okay, so that could be another reason why America is coming against Venezuela, because they have ties with Russia, and Russia is their enemy. That was 6 years ago. Let's play a little bit of it.
All right, Shalom Akim. All praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to you fellow Akim out there pushing out this word and true sincerity, enduring afflictions in this wicked society. Okay, this is your brother Chanak, and once again, I want to come to you brothers with another video. I pray that it's edifying, uplifting to your spirit. As of always, the spirit I like to push out there is the spirit of nuclear war, which that's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. Yahweh Shem Shai, he is the Yahweh is the Father, Yahweh Shai is the Son. Those are the two entities that we worship, and his Son Yahweh Shai is going to come back to redeem his elect, which we're hoping, that the Lord comes back soon. And what we're seeing now is, the things that are written aforetime, they are written for our learning, and one thing that was written aforetime was nuclear war, and not just any nuclear war. This last Third World War, in which Russia, which is a nuclear power, and America, which is a nuclear power, are going to go at it. Now, here's an article, okay, on NBCnews.com, which there's many articles. This is just the one that I'm reading. And this video was sparked because it's something that I've seen, a news clip, basically on Russia Today, on how Russia, which I'll read the title, says Russia sends 2 nuclear capable bombers to Venezuela.
There we go. Okay, see that? This was 6 years ago. Russia sent 2 nuclear capable bombers to Venezuela.
Russia and Venezuela always have done many different deals, bilateral deals with each other, okay, militarily and economically, and Venezuela has many different sanctions put on it by America and by the EU, America's allies.
The beast.
But what do you know? Venezuela has Russians as allies, and that's pretty much at the border of America, which America has many different bases on a border of Russia, out there in the EU, these different NATO nations like Lithuania, which is border Russia. You know, there's many different nations, which Russia is doing the same thing. So, and not only did Russia and Venezuela get together, but the news here, it says nuclear capable bombers. Okay, let me just run through a little bit of this article. Okay, and this is all recent news in the world, you know, which you have riots out there in France. You know, there's uprisings that are all happening, and this is all set up. Okay, this is all set up ultimately by the Heavenly Father to create tension between these two nations. Okay, which is all biblical prophecy. Moscow, the two Russian nuclear-capable strategic bombers have arrived in Venezuela on Monday, a deployment that comes amid soaring Russia-U.S. tensions. And this is pretty much a provocation of war to actually have, you know, nuclear-capable, you know, aircraft, you know, in South America, or I'm sorry, Central America, you know. So this is an act of flexing the muscles by Russia. America has done it. They have put, you know, military systems, you know, troops on the borders of Russia, you know, because ultimately these two nations, they want to take each other over. They want dominance over the planet Earth. Russian Defense Ministry said a pair of Tu-160 bombers landed at Maiquetía, if I'm pronouncing it right, airport outside Caracas on Monday following a 6,200-mile flight. It didn't say whether the bombers were carrying any weapons and didn't say how long they will stay in Venezuela. So we don't know if there's weapons, you know, nuclear weapons at that, okay, in Venezuela, you know, which this is nothing other than the Cuban Missile Crisis all over again. You know, but it's going to get to, you know, even more escalative, you know.
So, is there a deeper meaning behind our America coming at Venezuela? Is it really the drugs? Okay, is it really the drugs? There's a lot of strategic things happening behind the scenes that your government is not going to tell you. Okay, America's in trouble, man. All these nations are gearing up for war with America. And this is a biblical prophecy. Okay, so that's very strange. Again, this I did this video 6 years ago. Okay, World War III, Russia bombers in Venezuela. Now 6 years later, we have America actually, you know, really declaring war against Venezuela. Why out of all those countries, why Venezuela? Is it really, if you want to talk about cartels, you got the Mexican cartel, the Colombian cartel. If you want to talk about cartels, so why Venezuela? All right, something to think about. Everything that you see is not what it seems. All right, the excuse is we're coming against Jake. That was a setup. But there's deeper meanings behind what's actually happening. Okay, all these nations, basically, before you go to war, you wanna cut off any possible attacks from any of your sides. And how is America vulnerable? All right, America is vulnerable, you know, through South America and Canada. All right, but ultimately, this war is not going to be a ground war. Troops will be sent over to West Asia, so-called Middle East. But we know ultimately that nuclear war. This is a new type of war. Isaiah spoke about this new type of war. Okay, Isaiah 9:5. Let's get that real quick. This is a different type of war. I'm done there. I want to also get. I'm done there. Let me see something. Isaiah 9. But there was another scripture that I wanted to get before we go there. Let's go to Jeremiah. Because you Edomites think that you're going to get away for all the crimes that you committed. The reason why all these things are happening is really for the controversy of Zion. Because what you have done to the Lord's people. You are going to be made an example of what, you know, what a nation, you know, what the Most High would do to a nation that, you know, destroyed his people and blaspheme his name. All right, and push wickedness all over the earth. Esau is going to be made the prime example, as we were made an example to the whole earth. How the Most High, he divorced us. Okay, Jeremiah 49:12. For thus said the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Right, that's the Israelites. That's the chosen people of the Most High. We were set up to be the rulers of the earth. All right, we were the only nation that the Most High has dealt with and gave the laws to. But we got judged. Okay? And not just judged, we got the worst of all the judgment. There's no nation, no time in history, even though they try to, these Edomites, they try to downplay what happened to us. Okay? But you cannot go on any known history of as a nation of the things that happened to us. Daniel, the 9th chapter, goes into that. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Yeah, drink of what? The cup. As we read in Lamentation 4, the cup also shall be passed unto you. Okay? You gonna drink, Esau, you gonna drink that cup. Rejoice while the little time that you have left. Are these little bullshit ass attacks? Who knows? That shit could have been AI. It could have been a fishing boat. Maybe it was some drugs. That's a small, drop in a bucket of what's actually really coming into the United States. And who's ahead of that? Who's making the money off of those drugs? Esau. Okay. Now I wanted to, Isaiah 9:5, talking about this new war, this new type of war. Isaiah 9:5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And we're getting closer to that day. Okay. And all these distractions, again, things are not what it seems. They're not going to come out and tell you their moves. Okay. But this is for you stupid American people, okay, to soak up and think that, he's actually doing something about, crime. Crime is not going nowhere. Them drugs are not going nowhere. But your quality of life as an American is going down. All right, so I'm going to close it there. Hey, I pray that the lesson was edifying. Until next time, shalom to the elect.